On the fringe of a Munich airport lies the wreckage of an airliner, still smouldering from a crash in which 21 people were killed. Tragedy enough at any time. But in that plane were a group of young men who were almost the personal friends of millions. Manchester United, the finest soccer team Britain has produced since the war. And 7 of them died in the crash. 10 others, as well as their famous manager, Matt Busby, were injured. Some so seriously that their lives hung in the balance. Manchester, from the moment the news came through, was a city in mourning. Newspapers sold as fast as they could be printed. It was as though every family in a city of 750,000 people had suffered a personal loss, and so indeed they had. At Old Trafford, the saddest football ground in the world, the flags flew at half-mast. And on hundreds of other football grounds, other flags were being dipped in sympathy. For this disaster is perhaps the most tragic single blow British sport has ever suffered.
Sia io che episodi sportivi di così grande interesse dovrebbero venire organizzati prima di tutto.
Several waves of Liverpool fans chased the Juventus fans in Block Z. Some ran onto the far end of their terrace, others escaped onto the track around the pitch. The gendarmes fled with them. In their panic, a big number of Italians had run towards the farthest lower corner of Block Z, where they packed up against a wall and started trampling on each other. Contrary to what was assumed that night, and what is often still assumed, it wasn't the collapse of the wall that caused the 39 deaths. The collapse actually released pressure and allowed fans trapped up against the wall to escape. The dead died from suffocation. They lost their balance in the pushing and shoving, fell, and were trampled by the others.
"74 people have been killed in a crush of spectators at this afternoon's FA Cup semi-final between Liverpool and Nottingham Forest at the Hillsbourogh ground in Sheffield. One report says as many as 84 could be dead. It's the worst disaster in British football history. More than 200 other people were injured. Fans tried to escape up into the stands from the crush at the Liverpool end and over the spiked crowd barriers at the front. An ambulance appeared as the scale of the disaster became clear. The first casualties were stretchered away, fans and soccer officials helping the rescue workers. Desperate attempts were made to revive victims where they lay, as firemen and police struggled to reach those trapped behind the security barriers. The Prime Minister has called for an urgent report on the disaster